What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Figure It Out of the Basement's Black Series talk show. I'm Nate, joined with Justin.
What's up, guys?
And today we are counting down the worst and most pointless accessories in the Black Series.
Yes, sir. Hit like, subscribe if you are new. We are always talking about the Black Series here on our channel. Last week, we did the top 10 best accessories in the line, and we figured, hey, let's just do a follow-up episode with the worst slash most pointless. So, like, my logic with this is it could be worst as in execution, like it's just a bad accessory, or it's just, like, astonishingly pointless.
Right. You're telling me there's accessories in the Black Series?
Yeah, so this isn't a traditional top 10, because there's not 10, there's like 7 or 8. I mean, not a lot fit the category.
Right, I was going to say, in the grand scheme of things, obviously, most Black Series accessories serve their purpose.
Right, and it's also hard to think of the entire line.
Right, so of course that means we would love to know what you think are the worst and most pointless accessories in the line. Let us know down below.
Yeah, because there was definitely some on our top 10 best that I was like, oh man, like the torture droid that came with Tarkin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was some glaring omissions once the comments started rolling in, and I was just like, how could we forget? How could we forget?
Right, so I like the comments. Keep them coming.
Definitely. So let's jump into the list. Like Justin said, we're not doing 10 here because there's not really 10 bad accessories in the line, but we'll start out with a pretty big stinker here. We're going to wind the clocks back all the way to the red and black box with the first release of the Child, also known now as Grogu. And we're talking specifically about the Razor Crest shift knob accessory.
He can't hold it, Nate.
His hands were not meant to hold pretty much anything. He can hold some of the other accessories.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of research on this figure. The Child, the original, like, $10. Ooh, remember when the Child was $10? It came with, like, that little plastic case full of 3 accessories, and then he was released a few years later in Galaxy packaging with more accessories as a full-price mainline figure. And there are promo shots of him holding every single accessory except for the knob.
Yeah.
Because they knew.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it is literally just a tiny piece of silver plastic. It is so small. I remember getting the figure, and of course, you know, you try to have him flat palm, and you put it on his palm, and it just rolls off. And it's such a small accessory that I'm sure a lot of you out there have probably lost it or don't even realize that your Grogu figure came with it. But I remember for that original Child figure, I took it out for the review, and then I immediately put it back in that plastic case, and I put it back in the box, and I've never touched it ever again.
It was kind of cool that they included that plastic case, because, like, they just knew.
Right, they knew.
Monster carpet monster material. But it's a good thought because the character does interact with that little ball. But this goes in the more horrible execution, but also pointless, just because you can't really use it.
Right. I think this definitely would have been a figure that would have benefited from the hand being sculpted around the shift knob, and then it's just a little alt hand you peg in.
Moving right along with our list, keeping up with the Mando theme, we have the plastic cape that was included in pretty much every version of Din Djarin the Mandalorian, with the exception of the Book of Boba Fett one. This was easily the worst aspect of this figure, and I do consider this an accessory because you are intended to remove it if you want to put the jetpack on.
Right.
So I'm counting this as an accessory.
Right, and if anyone has watched the show, you know that usually when Mando, almost all the time, when Mando has his jetpack on, his cape is still on, and it's just simply put, draped over the side, which is what we would have all liked to do with our Beskar Mando figures, but that was not a possibility literally until the Glavis Ringworld Book of Boba Fett Mando came out, and then even then they went right back to the plastic cape for the Mines of Mandalore version So it's just kind of a head scratcher. The original figure, I will give that a pass simply because he doesn't really have the jetpack in that armor. So, you know, you kind of get a pass for that one. But going after that, completely unexcusable. It ruins the look of the character.
Right. It's so bulky when you try to get him to, like, shoulder the pulse rifle. I get that sculpted plastic, you get more detail, but specifically with Mando, I think since the jetpack is part of the whole formula, that's what makes it truly terrible.
Next up, I think you could definitely file this one under another just absolutely awful execution, and we are specifically talking about Baylan Skoll's lightsaber blade. This thing was massively oversized for no reason at all. They said on stream, they were like, oh, it looks like he's got a long sword and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I watched the trailer. It looks like a regular lightsaber.
Right. They try to attribute it to his fighting style. Like, he's wielding it like a knight, so like with a two-handed pose. But there are so many characters throughout Star Wars that hold their lightsabers with a two-handed grip.
Right.
So, like, this excuse of, oh, his fighting style makes it look like he's holding a great sword. But in the series, it is seemingly just a regular orange-reddish lightsaber.
Yeah.
And he looks goofy as heck.
Oh, yeah. When you actually look at, like, the promo images, you know, there's that really funny photoshopped image where the saber is, like, super long. Yeah. And it might as well be because it's, like, 2 inches above his head, 1.5 inches above his head, the blade, like when he's holding it right here.
It looks so silly.
It looks very comical, especially when you factor in, if you didn't modify your Baylan, he's super short.
True.
So he's a tiny figure with a huge lightsaber.
Yeah, even the promo pics look really goofy. Shout out to Cubic 3D Prints for making the correct blade for Baylan Skoll.
Yeah, also the correct color, because originally Baylan he came out with a red lightsaber to just make it even worse. So this one was a total failure. I mean, Baylan Skoll, the figure, is a total failure anyways, but
I think the sculpt is all right, but the height is so bad.
Yeah, it definitely could have been a lot better. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, if they do a season 2 version based off of the new actor's likeness, hopefully they get those details right.
Up next is a lightsaber, continuing the theme of lightsabers, because this was a character that quite literally never used a lightsaber, but they gave him one anyway. And this is Joros C'baoth's lightsaber that they included in the Thrawn Trilogy multi-pack, the 4-pack that they did.
Yeah.
And they gave him a lightsaber. And it's a uniquely sculpted lightsaber.
Ooh.
But I have it on good authority from our EU experts in the Discord that he literally never uses a lightsaber, even in situations in the stories where it would make like perfect sense to use a lightsaber. He does not. He's more like Palpatine-esque with just like mind trickery and the Force and, you know, Force lightning, which is included. But like, it's quite possibly the most pointless accessory of all time.
Yeah, this one kind of shocked me. I really was not aware that Joros C'baoth didn't use a lightsaber at all. I figured, you know, maybe at some point in time he used one and that's why they packed it in. But to find out never at all, it's just like, why? Who was like, oh yeah, red lightsaber?
This screams that like corporate suit mentality of like, he's a bad guy, so he needs a lightsaber. Yeah. It's kind of like, some people suggested, because I worked a little bit in the Discord for this topic, some people were suggesting like Admiral Piet's blaster or Galen Erso coming with the Death Star plans. Yeah. But the accessories themselves aren't bad. It's just like the weird context of, well, there's nothing this character comes with, so he's got to come with something. So it's like pointless, but I wouldn't say bad. Yeah. I don't know. But this is like pointless.
Right. It just doesn't make any sense.
Uniquely sculpted.
Yeah, that's even crazier that it's a unique sculpt. I wonder whose hilt it is then.
Like, what concept art or like, whose Wikipedia page were they looking at to get that lightsaber? Someone comments ISB research team, get on that. Whose lightsaber is that in actuality for Jorah Sabayoth?
Now moving on to one that I think we're going to get a little heat for, Justin. But at the end of the day, it definitely is a pointless accessory at the very least. And this one is Bad Batch Echo's droid arm. Yeah, duck and cover, bro. Duck and cover.
It's a clone.
Yeah, we're criticizing a clone. We are about to be crucified in the community. But at the end of the day, while Echo's droid arm is a neat little accessory, it's nice, it's well detailed.
True.
But
Shiny.
we never see it at all in any of the seasons of the Bad Batch. Now, clearly, this is a little, symptom of he had it in some promo art and then just never had it in the actual series, because even the Hot Toys version of Echo comes with the claw grabber arm.
Right.
So clearly it was something that they had intended Echo to use, but then they just never did. So
still pointless and still huge and still just went into an accessory box forever.
Yeah.
I am sure there are some people out there who say, actually, guys, I use it on my shelf. Well, it's not from anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a cool charm element to it. I could see with it being concept art, but not to me at all.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just rather pointless because it's not in the actual show. It's a symptom of getting inaccurate figures because they're rushing the figures out with the show. Mm-hmm. It's like, I get that Black Series is Hasbro's flagship line, but it is a symptom of we're always the first ones to get these like new media figures.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's not necessarily a negative thing, but my mind goes to like, oh, that could have been a different alt arm or alt hand in some other figure. So that's where my mind goes.
Right. Or it could have just been one of the other various things.
Could have been his left hand with a trigger finger.
You're spitting.
Ooh, all right. It's a bad accessory now. It's bad.
Yeah.
I'll say it. And lastly, we have one more on here. This is actually the first one I thought of when we went to make this video, because it is an accessory from a top 10 Black Series figure of all time. But I can almost guarantee none of you have ever used this accessory. It is Boba Fett's grapple hook attached to a string.
Why? I shouldn't say why. Because it would have made sense if it was actually long enough to wrap around a figure even one time. But it's like an inch long. So So if you want Boba to be firing it and, let's say, wrapping around Luke Skywalker like what happens in the movie, Boba is literally going to have to be right here so that you can get the string around Luke.
And even then, it's going to be a tight fit. Then.
Right, and obviously if you've seen the movie, you know that it wraps around Luke like 3-4 times, and he's standing a good bit of distance away. So it's like, it's a nice little novelty, I suppose, but it
serves no purpose.
Right, you can't do the thing you're supposed to do with it, therefore it is worthless. Literally, it's just in my little accessory box rotting away.
I never even made the attempt because it's so comically short. And it's just a piece of string.
Yeah.
And it's just with the molded, hook at the end. I was thinking like maybe if they would have done some molded plastic iteration of this, I don't know if that would work. I mean, the promo pics, it's literally defying the laws of gravity.
Right.
Because it's just shooting out into thin air.
Yeah.
It's just completely pointless. I challenge you, if you can get a decent shot without using Photoshop or anything like that, if you could get a decent natural image, send it in the Discord. But I think out of the entire line, this has always been the standout, just like most pointless accessory. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, at least it's a great figure filled with other awesome accessories.
Right. Some of the best.
Yeah. But it's just completely and utterly pointless. It's both. It's a horrible execution, and it's also, therefore, pointless because you can't even use it.
Right. This would have been a prime example to bust out that good old bendy wire And just just give us a nice long black bendy wire with the grapple on the end of it.
Okay.
So that way, if you wanted to have him firing it, it could be rigid, and you could actually make it look like he's shooting it out of his gauntlet.
I'm liking this.
With the bendy wires, you could wrap it around Luke Skywalker to recreate the scene from the movie. I don't know.
Maybe.
Obviously, like, Hasbro is just now getting into the whole bendy wire game, which is kind of crazy.
True.
That it's taken them this long to get into bendy wires. So maybe Boba Fett might end up being one of those figures where it's like, dang, if only we would have got him in 2026.
Yeah.
He would have had a bendy wire grapple hook.
Right.
You know, but
maybe they can do that with the Empire Strikes Back version if that ever comes out.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just assumed everyone bought the Mayfex for $40 off Big Bad, so Hasbro was like, never mind.
I'd still be down for a Black Series one because
Oh, yeah.
I was one of those people.
Oh yeah.
But also, I'd be down for a Hasbro Black Series version too.
Yeah, you definitely would.
Do the grapple hook better this time.
Right.
That's your homework. All right, Hasbro?
Give us an accessory unique to Empire Strikes Back Boba that's going to make all of us that own the Mayfex pick up the Black Series version. The ball's in your court, though.
Even though now that I think about it, he doesn't use the grapple hook in Empire Strikes Back, and it's a different costume.
He doesn't, but they could pack it in so that you could give it to your Return of the Jedi
interchange
figure.
it. All right.
Yeah. But with that being said, that is going to be all we have for you for the worst and most pointless accessories in the Black Series.
Mm-hmm.
Like we mentioned earlier, we would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think are some pointless, worthless accessories? I'm sure there's plenty we're forgetting.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Morgan Elsbeth? Nothing? Most pointless,
Mon
worthless?
Mothma? Nothing?
Most pointless, worthless accessories of all time? Nothing?
Definitely comment down below. I'm really curious because there's, like you said, there's tons of stuff that we're forgetting about.
Yeah.
I love reading the comments.
Definitely. So, with that being said, we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. If you are in a position to help support us directly, we do also offer a couple different channel membership tiers. Check those out down in the description below. And while you're there, click the link to join that Discord. That one's totally free, and it's a great way to get connected with us and other like-minded members of the community. With that being said, we do have to give a special shout out and a huge thank you to all of our current channel members. Your continued support is truly appreciated. And thank you to everyone else out there for watching. I'm Nate. I've been joined with Justin.
See you guys later.
And we will see you all next time on Out of the Basement.